Samsung has officially locked in the Exynos 2600, and it's shaping up to be a game-changer for the upcoming Galaxy S26 series. Reports now confirm that the Exynos 2600 has entered mass production, and this isn't just another processor. It's the world's first smartphone chip built on a 2nm process. That alone makes it a big deal in the smartphone industry. For years, Samsung has been in the shadows of Apple, Qualcomm, and even MediaTek when it comes to chip performance and efficiency. Apple's A-series chips often dominate benchmarks, and Qualcomm's Snapdragon processors have been the go-to choice for most flagship Android phones. But with the Exynos 2600, Samsung is stepping back into the spotlight. Let's start with the basics. According to a new report, Samsung has already started the mass production of this chip, and the timing is a bit earlier than expected. Why? Because the yields, which basically means how many working chips they can produce out of each batch, have surpassed the 50% mark. That means at least half of the chips being made are passing quality tests, which is a good sign for mass rollout. Now, here's an interesting twist. The Exynos 2600 isn't going into every Galaxy S26 model. It's reportedly reserved for just one version, the Galaxy S26 Pro, which is the base model in the lineup. Other models like the Galaxy S26 Edge and the Galaxy S26 Ultra are expected to use Qualcomm's Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5 for Galaxy, at least in most markets worldwide. Historically, Samsung has followed a split strategy when it comes to chipsets. Europe and South Korea usually get the Exynos versions, while North America and China stick to Snapdragon. That same trend is expected this time as well, so most European and South Korean users may see the Exynos 2600 powering their Galaxy S26 Pro. So, what makes this chip so special? It's being built using Samsung Foundry's first-generation 2nm process node, known as SF2. This isn't just marketing hype. Moving to a 2nm process means smaller transistors, which translates to better performance and lower power consumption compared to the previous 3nm process. This new design is expected to deliver 12% more performance and 25% better power efficiency. The Exynos 2600 is also using Samsung's gate-all-around transistor design, which is now in its third generation. This design allows better control over electricity flow inside the chip, which helps reduce energy loss and overheating to critical factors for both speed and battery life. Production is moving quickly too. Samsung recently started what's called wafer input for the Exynos 2600, and fab out basically when finished chip wafers leave the factory is expected around late October or early November. That lines up perfectly with Samsung's schedule for the Galaxy S26 launch, which usually happens early in the year. Let's talk competition. The Exynos 2600 will go head-to-head with Apple's A19 and A19 Pro, MediaTek's Dimensity 9500, and Qualcomm's Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5. On paper, all of these are powerhouse chips, but Samsung has something unique here. The CPU cores in the Exynos 2600 are based on ARM's latest C1 design, the same ones used in the Dimensity 9500, but the GPU is where things get interesting. Instead of using ARM's Immortalis GPU like MediaTek, Samsung has partnered with AMD. The Exynos 2600 will feature a GPU built on AMD's RDNA architecture, which has already shown promise in delivering strong graphics performance in mobile gaming and high-end visuals. Another big point of discussion is efficiency. Apple, Qualcomm, and MediaTek are all sticking with TSMC's 3nm process for their new chips. Samsung, on the other hand, is pushing ahead with 2nm. If Samsung's process lives up to the claims, we could see the Exynos 2600 outperform its rivals in power efficiency, which would mean longer battery life for the phones that use it, of course. Real-world performance is what matters most, and we'll need to see how the Exynos 2600 performs once it's inside the Galaxy S26 Pro, but the early signs are promising. For Samsung, This is more than just a chip launch, it's about proving that Exynos can compete at the highest level again. So, to sum it all up, the Exynos 2600 is confirmed, it's in mass production, and it's the first smartphone processor to use a 2nm process. It's expected to power the Galaxy S26 Pro in select regions like Europe and South Korea, while other models and markets will continue with Qualcomm's Snapdragon, with AMD graphics, ARM's latest CPU cores, and Samsung's advanced 10nm technology. This could be the comeback story for Exynos that many fans have been waiting for. The Galaxy S26 launch is still a few months away, but with the Exynos 2600 already moving through production, it's clear that Samsung is getting ready to make a big statement in 2026.